Well, as luck would have it, I had all these leaves blowed off and cleaned up off the porch and everything. And as soon as I got done with the leaf blower, here they come. They just waited for me to get done. But I'm sitting out here on the porch. It's kind of cool today, and as usual. And thought I'd tell you a little quick story that I thought you might find amusing. Some of this stuff, some of the stories I'm telling you are true. I'm not making this stuff up, but some of the stuff I'm telling you is, I don't know, kind of like for my grandkids. If they watch my YouTube videos, they might get a kick out of hearing some of the stuff that I talk about. Today I'm talking about when I went to go visit my grandparents in Alabama. I talk about them a lot. They lived in northern Alabama, right around Abbotsville, Gunnersville, Boaz area, Gadsden, in that general area of northern Alabama. And one winter, my mother, and I went to go visit my grandparents. My dad, get out of here, stupid bug. My dad, what is wrong with that? Can you believe? He won't fly no more. my dad was, he worked on machinery, and he, at different facilities, he'd just go all over the country, the 48 states in the United States, continental U.S., and he was a specialist in plastic molding machines. He's pretty smart at that kind of stuff. Anyway, he done that for years and years, and so it kind of left, before my brother and sister were born, kind of left my mom and I by ourselves, pretty much. So I think we caught a train from where we lived to go visit my grandparents in northern Alabama. Of course, my grandparents picked us up and all that stuff, and I was just a little feller. I'm going to say 5 or 6 years old. I'm not real smart today, but I surely wasn't at that age. Just kind of dumb. But my grandparents lived on a farm, 60-acre farm, and they had woods and all that kind of stuff. And my grandfather had some hunting dogs, and he said, "Jim, let me and you go hunting. So we'll go possum hunting." Of course, I said, "Okay, yeah, I'll go with you, Grandpa." So, sorry guys, it's cold. Anyway, he got the gun, and of course, I followed him. We went all through fields and just everywhere. The dogs was chasing a possum. Possum went up in the tree. We finally got one. The possum went up in the tree, and he said, "Jim, come here a minute." So he got me by the shoulders, and he said, "I want you to stand right here." And he got my shoulders, just put me right where he wanted me to be. Well, he's kind of a funny guy, a jokester kind of, and he shook that tree. Of course, them dogs are barking. I couldn't hardly hear a thing he was saying. He shook that tree, and that possum fell out of the tree right near me. Just practically right on top of me. Of course, the dogs jumped in. I'm sorry I'm shaking, guys. It's cold out here. But the dogs jumped in after the possum. Of course, I was right in the thick of it, and I didn't know what to do. And my grandfather was laughing. Oh my goodness, he had the biggest time out of that, watching me squirm with all those dogs and that possum there. And it's just good times. I never will forget it. And we went back to the farmhouse. Of course, we just had one fireplace. That's the only way you heated back then, and one fireplace. And we stood by the fire, and my grandfather come in the house talking to my grandmother and my mom, and he was just laughing. He could hardly contain himself, and he told what happened with that possum coming down on me, and the 2 or 3 hunting dogs he had. They was all getting it, and my grandmother jumped him, as you can imagine, and told him, "What'd you let that possum get next to this baby for?" Talking about me. Of course, like I said, I was probably 5 or 6 years old, but I didn't know no better. Anyway, he just thought I think the day they both passed away, they never did forget that. That was just really hilarious to them. And it is to me too. I mean, I'm I'm fixing to be 66, and I still remember it to this day. So it was a good time. Of course, my grandfather, he wouldn't have hurt me for nothing. I mean, it had me get hurt. He knew what he was doing. But it was a lot of fun and hanging out over at my grandparents' house. And, we'd all get up in the morning from a cold bedroom, a bunch of blankets piled on top of you. And my grandmother would make a great big old breakfast, biscuits and eggs and stuff. And we'd all just stand around by the fireplace. There's just one fireplace in the center of the house, and that's the only way you could heat with, heat the house. So I'd stand there and watch that glowing in the fireplace that they heated with coal, and it was, it's just good times. I mean, sometimes you can have, I don't know how to say this, but sometimes you can have too much of a good thing. You know what I mean? It makes you appreciate stuff that from long ago, and probably still going on today, I'm sure, but everybody's got electric heat, gas heat, and all this other stuff. Well, back in the day, wasn't like that. You had my grandmother and grandfather, they finally got electricity to their house. They'd lived there a long time. I'm sorry I'm shaking, guys. Please forgive me. But there was one neighbor when they was running electric lines. One neighbor didn't want electricity, so they stopped. And they finally convinced him to put electricity on his house, to have lights and stuff, light bulbs and stuff like that. So my grandparents finally got electricity to their farmhouse. Could you imagine? I mean, that's the only way they had light at night, was by, lamps, kerosene lamps and candles. I mean, that's it. And that'd be a hard way of life, wouldn't it? But you know what? Those folks were happy. They didn't have indoor plumbing or anything. If you had to go to the bathroom, you had to go outside to the outhouse. And I don't think people like that nowadays would even know what to do. But it's just a different time. But you know what? It's a rough life, but you know what? Those folks were happy. And I was always tickled to death to go over there. Of course, we had running water. We had lights and all that stuff where we lived, but I never did realize at the time, that my grandparents were poor. They just barely scraped by anything they done. It was just barely making ends meet. So, but I thought they were rich. Isn't that funny? How you think? I mean, best people, they'd give you the shirt off their backs if you needed it. But I mean, they just great folks, and I'm proud to be related to them, and I'm proud they had a big influence on my life. I thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I have a lot of stories. If you like this kind of stuff, please let me know, because I'm not sure anybody watches this kind of stuff, but to me it's important, and hopefully it is to you, just to get a little history lesson now and again, I guess. Hey, God bless y'all. Thanks for watching. The Lord's in charge, and He's been so good to me. I've been surrounded by people that have been very influential to me and have helped me throughout my life. So, God bless y'all. You're watching Prime at His Best. If you'd like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Hope y'all's having a blessed day today, and I'll catch you in the next video. I'll see y'all later.